Yeah. Gray sounds fantastic. Yeah, I was thinking something like Comic Sans maybe for the font. I think that'd look pretty good. Yeah. No, money's not a problem. Nope. Alright. Well, thank you. Bye-bye now. Sorry, I was just busy planning my funeral. Should probably do the same thing. So the ear poison starts with this intro that would feel right at home at Zion or under your local overpass, and well, it's pretty mediocre as far as intros go. The choice of using a disco-esque dance beat does kind of fit with the show's central theme of audio-augmented action heroes. It's definitely no pole position intro, that's for sure. My favorite part has to be the singer who literally sings every octave known to man before her vocal cords just snap right out of her neck and fly into outer space. The show begins with the four main characters playing an MMO-like game together called MP4ORCE Beyond Real. Like the bunch of lame gamers they are, lamers if you will, the four of them are digitally dueling this weird bearded ant guy named Tenebris, all the while lazily shouting out exposition and being generally irritating in the process. The team is able to achieve a new high score by beating the villainous Tenebris in Devlin 13 using the power of obnoxious sound design. Feel free to apply bandages to your ears at this time. Meanwhile, in some faraway high-rise, we also learned that Devlin 13 was being controlled by this greasy-haired edgelord named Damien Darkstone. Because of course that's his actual name. Man, it sure must suck to be fated to be the villain of the show just because of the name you were given as a child. Poor guy.
Damien Darkstone win every time!
Damien Darkstone win every time.
Since he's about as good at MP4ORCE as he is at maintaining a healthy relationship with his parents, Damien is given a cheat code out of pity, but all it seems to do is turn his screen brightness all the way up. Not really sure how that's going to help him in the long run, but I guess we'll just have to check back in with him and his presumably burned retinas in a few. Let's see how our totally not annoying protagonists are celebrating their victory.
Unreal has a new high score.
Leyland, Casey, Benny, awesome win, guys.
You too, Cooter.
That's his name? I have nothing to say. Yikes. Moving on, the gang receives a message from this ugly, white-bearded fool named Klaxon, stupid name by the way, who informs them that Tenebris, the bug villain from the game, is escaping into reality, and only the four best gamers in the world have any chance of stopping him. Yup, so this is the plot, ladies and gentlemen. You thought Rick and Morty was too high concept?
Bye, Felicia.
MP4ORCE is a new player in town. No one with an IQ under 160 should even attempt to watch this show. Please and thank you. Can we just talk about this guy's character design for a moment? So he very clearly has a long white beard, and it looks like he has some stringy white locks poking out from the top of his hood as well. But what is up with his eyes? Are they like sunglasses that are connected to this one strand of hair forever dangling in front of his eyes? Or are they just weird hair formations that just look like eyes? I have so many questions but no answers. Maybe it's just me because it doesn't seem like our heroes are fazed at all by this guy and his perplexing features.
It's the Game Guardian from MP4ORCE.
You're good with that take, Harley Quinn? You don't want to like try again or anything? No? Alright. So Klaxon invites the squad over to what he refers to as the Quad, which in reality is just his high-tech gaming room / man cave. He proceeds to show the heroes the cool PC that he totally built himself for totally less than $2,000. Just kidding. Instead, he literally just tells them the exact same thing he told them at the arcade about how Tenebris is about to wreak havoc on the world and only a bunch of real gamers can save the day. See, this is how you can tell when a show is not meant for troglodytes like you or I, when it feels the need to literally explain its plot twice in the span of 2 minutes, just to make sure you're still following along. The writers of this show are obviously fourth-dimensional beings who are trying their damnedest to dumb down their complex narrative so that we primitive life forms can even attempt to understand their wisdom. and for that, I commend them. However, in their infinite wisdom, they still fail to understand how to write dialogue, and the actors, well, are about as clueless as you can get when it comes to delivering said dialogue. Let's take a listen.
Here we are, ready to try out the new MP4ORCE game. Let's go. Last one online's a loser. Blah, 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 blah. Help us by firing this puppy up so we can play already.
I hate these characters. Especially this poorly named leprechaun kid. Every time he opens his mouth, I swear I have the urge to one-up Van Gogh and go 2 for 2 on my ears. Back at the lair of Devil Spawn McDemon Child, more exposition is barfed up by this dork.
I've become the character I play in MP4ORCE Beyond Real. I'm Devlin 13!
Turns out that Tenebris was actually the cause of Damien's transformation into the auspicious asparagus of a villain, Devlin 13, and desperately needs this doofus's help to reclaim his power so that he can digitize the world or whatever. Because yeah, Tenebris is currently stuck in this ghost form since the 4 heroes, Cooter, Casey, Leyland, and Benny, were all online while Big T was trying to escape the grid, and subsequently stole some of his power. While Tenebris is finishing up making Devlin 13 his new manservant and forcing him to launch phase 1 of his masterful plan, the best gamers in the world grab their gamer gear and suit up to begin their training in Klaxon's excessive man cave.
Oh, sweet! I'm Thrash for real! Check the bow!
Whoa, I've actually become screenplay.
Nice! I wonder how much damage I can do with Kick Blast with these shockwave boots.
I'm Reverb!
So from here on out, I'm going to be calling the characters by their MP4ORCE names, so in case you muted your computer in the last 5 seconds, which I wouldn't blame you if you did, given the horrific voice acting we've encountered so far, there's Thrash, Screenplay, Kick Blast, and Reverb, and together, they form the MP4ORCE, which I'm just starting to realize doesn't really make a whole lot of sense name-wise, given the whole sound theme. Now, MP4 files can sometimes be used to store audio data, but I feel like most people know MP4s as video files. Maybe they could have just gotten rid of one of the characters, Thrash, and called the show the MP3 or something stupid like that, but I guess this gobbledygook of a title is more appealing to investors or something. I don't know. Even though they're apparently the best gamers ever birthed into this world that seemingly revolves around video games, the 4 waste no time in acting like a bunch of jackasses and practically kill each other with their new sound powers. Not that that would be a bad thing.
Oops.
Make it stop.
Listen up, Beetle Brain.
You mean Thrash?
Death, I welcome your embrace. Please take me.
Yo, Klaxon, if this is a VR simulation, don't ever wake me.
In order to stop the dastardly bug boy Tenebris from digitalizing the world, I mean, the one location we've seen in this cartoon, the D-list Avengers, known as the MP4ORCE, must jump into a gamescape to beat Tenebris's game, reboot style. Some of you might be thinking, gee, where have I seen this before? I don't know. Probably all over the place because it's one of the blandest, most cookie-cutter plots ever written. A select few viewers out there might be sitting over in the corner thinking, hey, that reminds me of that one episode of Saturdazed when he talked about reboot. To which I say, why thank you, I'm glad someone's thinking of me. For the uninitiated, you can watch that here. Shameless self-promotion aside, I am having some serious deja vu right now, considering this is almost identical to the plot of Reboot's pilot episode, only that show came out years prior to this. This show's like that one guy in high school that's always trying to act cool and be everyone's friend, but instead ends up pissing everyone off for always asking to copy your homework. Like, no one even likes you, Brian. While he's busy trying to win a Darwin Award, Thrash ends up finding a Mastodon key, which is very important in the world of MP4, so I'll have you know. Allow me to take a moment to detail why this is so key in their mission. You know what, I'll just leave this to Harley. She'll probably do a much better job of explaining it than I ever would.
I remember online. There's a dimensional doorway just before the Mastodon cave that's full of power cells.
There it is, let's power up.
Wait! It could be a trap! Thrash!
Yeah, Thras. You should have known it was just all a trap set up by Tenebris and that sickly, zombie-looking Devlin 13. Seriously though, is he ill? Does he need to see a doctor? Ignoring his obvious health concerns, it does appear that Devlin 13 is able to manipulate the gamescape using some sort of specialized haptic gloves and his custom-built controller, which pretty much makes him God in this pocket reality. But what does he decide to do with this limitless power? Spawn a few digital saber-toothed tigers that chase the heroes right to the place they're trying to reach? Okay. They barely even put up a fight, too. They're bested by Thrash, for Christ's sake. I mean, that's just pathetic.
Anyone for a little power lunch?
After eating some digital orange slices and powering up, Boom Boots, or whatever her name is, decides to call Thrash out on his stupidity.
Him? We're the ones who almost bit it because he keeps playing ham solo.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Just in case you thought Thrash might be Canadian, wonder no more.
Hey, I'm sorry.
After putting their mission on hold so that they could butt heads for like an hour, Harley Scream delivers a truly awe-inspiring speech that forces the ragtag team of rejects to put aside their differences, to look beyond each other's annoying antics and finally become the MP4ORCE that Klaxon believes them to be. It's definitely one of the greatest pep talks of our time.
Come on, you guys. There's the fortress. Let's just focus on beating Tenebris.
And what's the next step in their brilliant plan? I'll give you a second to formulate your answer. Try to think outside the box if you can. Now, if you said,
Download Sonic ATVs!
then you can have my liver or something, because there's no way in hell anyone expected that. I mean, at least the show finally pulls something original out of its ass. Now that they've reached Tenebris's fortress, the bumbling teenagers that make up the MP4s are finally able to showcase some of their one-note skills, and surprisingly, put up a decent fight.
Now what?
Thrash, how good a shot are you with your sniper points?
Let's find out. You guys close in on the building.
Thrash!
Don't worry. This is teamwork.
That's only because Tenebris is one of the most useless villains ever created. Not only is he a big pushover, but it's almost like every character in this show is trying to one-up each other in terms of stupidity, and Tenebris is definitely in the running for that top spot.
Hey, she's kicking my fortress. No one kicks my fortress and gets away with it. Turn on the blizzard machine.
What about the freeze ray?
My blizzard machine is the finest weather control device in the...
She's breaking your building, dude.
Since he's getting his ass handed to him yet again, Devlin 13 decides it's time to pull out the big guns, or in this case, a freeze ray, which stops Kick Blast right in her tracks.
Kick blast!
I love the freeze ray.
Screenplay. You can use your head speak to make solid objects, not solid, right?
Yeah, but I've never done it to a person before.
Not to kick blast to the ice.
Seriously, who thought it was a good idea to give these half-wits superpowers? Oh yeah, this fool. While Scream Player laments for accidentally melting Raven's face off, Cyborg downloads a heat gun ex machina to destroy the freeze ray, which only gives Tenebris yet another opportunity to throw a tantrum like the toddler he is. And because the saber-toothed tigers didn't work and the freeze ray didn't work, Tenebris calls for the blizzard machine, which actually does turn the tides of the battle briefly thanks to some dirty coding from Devlin 13. God, every time I say Devlin 13, I just want to puke. Not really sure why. Even though the blizzard was apparently
Designed to sap our energy units and leave us helpless.
the Force is still able to do this?
Come on, what do you got? Nothing.
Take that! Uh-oh.
With Tenebris's fortress completely obliterated, the city de-digitizes and the four teens warp back to their sad, pitiful reality. But of course, Klaxon informs the crew that Tenebris is far from finished, and that the ugly insectoid will continue with his goal of conquering the world by cranking out game after game like he's frickin' Ubisoft or something. And with that, the newly formed team of elite gamers vow that whenever Tenebris rears his bearded mug again, they'll be there to take him down. Well, with one exception.
Unless there's another Frost world, that ice froze my butt.
Okay, Cooter.
So I guess it's time for me to sum up my thoughts on this one. And well, I think it's quite possibly one of the worst cartoons I've ever seen. With an abysmal 1.4 on IMDb, it has to be the culmination of bad entertainment. The plot is about as thin and predictable as it comes, save for the
Download Sonic ATV
scene. It's your generic good versus evil plotline about kids getting sucked into a video game, which almost never works in my opinion story-wise. I guess I just don't understand why a person would want to watch a TV show about playing a video game when you can just spare yourself from this garbage by simply pulling out your console of choice and playing a game yourself. Secondly, the voice acting is so irritating, I think I'd rather file my own ears off with a cheese grater and then stand next to a jet taking off with no earplugs. It doesn't help that every single character is annoying as all hell, both in their actions and their dialogue. Why do they all have to be whiny, egotistical morons who all feel like they deserve to be the best? How is anyone supposed to relate to any of these characters when they're all
behaving like a babbling, bumbling band of baboons?
Hey, I'm sorry.
Thrash!
Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Saturdazed. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at MP4ORCE. If you're still alive out there, click right here to subscribe. I think I'm gonna go lay down because I'm pretty sure I'm dying, so I'll catch you guys later.